This conference will now be recorded.
So we'll see today the final session of Kubernetes. Okay, so how exactly we are going to deploy an app in Kubernetes. So in the last class, we have seen how to set up the cluster, what are the commands involved in launching the cluster, right? What are the kubectl commands to check the pods, services, deployments, all those things we have seen, right? So in addition to that, we are going to launch an application and a database application, and we'll see how can we check up that. Okay, how can we create that cluster. So the first thing what we need is we need our minikube to be running. So let me launch the instance. So today, what are the commands we are going to see, right? All those commands have been documented here. I'm going to share these documents in the directory, okay, Google Drive. Okay, so our minikube is running. Let me log in into that. All right, so this is our instance where we have installed minikube in the previous class, right? So let me switch to that user ID. Sudo su and switch to student user. All right, student user, we have logged in. Let's verify the minikube status. By default, it will be in the stopped state. Okay. You can see here minikube in this stopped state. Let's start that minikube so that we can launch the pod and all. All right, so minikube is getting launched here. So you have to understand one thing. We are going to launch a database application. See, a database. See, once we are launching a database application on DB, we are going to launch one DB in one container. Now, what are the DBs running? We have to access it, right? We need some kind of access. We need some user interface or something, right? So in order to access this DB, we are going to launch one more application called, okay, Mongo Express. See, Mongo Express is the user interface which is used for accessing the database, Mongo database, MongoDB. All right, so we are going to launch a two-tier architecture. Okay, so this is one user interface pod, and this is going to be our database, right? So two pods, two different services should be created. We are going to create it now. All right, so first we are going to create MongoDB pod, and in order to talk or in order to interact with that Mongo database, we are going to need one more service which we call it as Mongo Express. Okay, and we are going to create, and this is going to be an internal service. Okay, this is going to be an internal service. This pod is going to communicate internally with the database. All right, and so let's see how can we do that. See, we are going to create Mongo Express deployment. Okay, once the database is ready, once the MongoDB database is ready, we are going to create Mongo Express pod. Okay, so these are two different pods which we are going to create. Now we need the database URL, right? See, for this, let me name it here. In order to communicate with the MongoDB pod, this Express pod should have the URL. Okay, this Express pod should have the database URL so that the Express pod can connect to it, right? And secondly, we need username and password of the database so that the Express pod can authenticate with the database, right? So two things: one is the database URL we need, and we need username and password. Okay, so where we are going to store all this information, we are going to pass all this information in the deployment file. Okay, so first we are going to create a deployment file here. Okay, deployment file. In this deployment file, everything, the username and password, what kind of port it has to use, and even the environmental variables we are going to define in this deployment file. Okay, what is the next thing we need? We need config map. Okay, we are going to create a config map, and that will contain the database URL, and we are going to create secrets as well. What is secrets? The secrets is nothing but it is going to hold the credentials. Okay, see, the username and password, we can't make it open, right? See, if anyone can opens that secret file, the information will be in the open state, right? So we don't want to expose those credentials to the other people. That is why we are going to keep all those information encoded. Okay, that will be in the encoded state, and we are going to use base 64 encoding method for encrypting the username and password, and we are going to store that information in this secrets file. Okay, one of the important file, guys, remember this. So what we'll do, we will keep all both this information, deployment file information and secrets information, in one more file which we call it as configuration file. Okay, config file. Once all these things are done successfully, we are going to need an URL to access the Mongo Express, right? Even once if we want to log in into Mongo Express URL, right? Once we want to log in into this user interface, we can access the database pod, right? So how can we access Mongo Express pod? We need one URL. Okay, we need one URL for that. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a external service. Okay, we are going to create a external service. Already we have discussed about external service in the introduction class. External service is nothing but it creates an URL which will help us to talk with the pod. Okay, from the outside, from the internet, if you want to interact with the application, we can use this external service that will help us to create a URL. All right, so once all these components are set up successfully, the data is going to flow properly. Okay, so what we are going to create now, we are going to create internal service, we are going to create external service. Internal service is for Express pod to communicate with the MongoDB pod. Okay, internal service. And in order to access the Express pod from outside world, which is for us through the internet, we are going to create external service. And we need deployment file, we need secrets file, we need config file which is going to hold the database URL. The secrets file will be holding the database username and password, and after that we can start creating the setup. Okay, we can set up the components easily. All right, so what we are going to do now is we are going to start writing these files, deployment file, secret file, everything. We are going to start writing it. To save our time, I have already written all these files in the YAML format. Let me explain you one by one. Okay, so I'll share all these files in the Google Drive, don't worry. I have opened these files in Microsoft Visual Studio. Okay, the first file is mongo.yml. This is the deployment file. Try to read this. The kind of file is deployment file. Okay, we have named this file, we have named this particular configuration as MongoDB deployment. All right, we are going to create one replica. At this moment, one replica is enough for the database and pod. And we have specified how many containers it has to open. Okay, in the specifications tab. In the specs, we are going to mention containers. The container name is going to be the MongoDB container. Okay, MongoDB container. It is going to use Mongo image. Let me open up that image name in the hub.docker.com. This is the Docker Hub. We have seen this in Docker classes. Now try to search it for MongoDB. Okay, this is the container which you are going to use. Okay, so click on the first one. This is the official image, Mongo. This is the MongoDB image which we are going to use for launching the MongoDB container. So come down and see the read this line. So MongoDB works on 27017 port. Okay, so that is what I have mentioned here. Okay, so this is the default port on which the MongoDB container works. All right, what is the next thing? We need the username and password. Username and password. See, we can't expose the username and password, right? We can't expose the username and password. So what we are going to do, we are going to encode the username and password. Encode it. How can we encode it? We have the command called echo command. Okay, so while you see, if you run this command echo -n username. Okay, so this username space filter or grep base 64. So what this command will do, this command will encrypt this username, and it will give in a this way. Okay, so username has been encrypted like this. All right, now we are going to mention this information in the file. In which file? Secrets file. See here, this is the username. In the same way, we are going to encrypt password as well. All right, so once I do the password, that will be that I mean even that will be encrypted like this, and we are going to take this information, we are going to keep it here in the secrets file. All right, so this information we are going to pull it in the deployment file. Okay, see here, deployment file, we are going to pull it. Mongo secret, where this information is coming from? This information is coming from this mongo secrets.yml. The kind of file is secret. Okay, see this kind is very much important. Okay, how you define the file, that is very much important. All right, so this is how we encrypt the credentials, so that no others can access our applications with the username and password. All right, so after that, what we are going to do, come down, we are going to create an API, service API. Okay, service API. See, in YAML, we can create set of files by just adding triple hyphen. So until here, the deployment file was created, and in order to save, space and all, and in order to keep both the files in one single file, both deployment and services, I have just given triple hyphen here, and I have started writing the service. Okay, so this entire thing is related to service only. So what service? MongoDB service. I'm opening up the port called 2707 2717. it is running on this particular port. All right, so what I'm going to do, this file is ready, secrets is ready. Now we need Mongo Express file. Even Mongo Express is a deployment, right? Because we are going to interact with the database with the Mongo Express pod, right? So again, I have created one more deployment. I have given a name to this, and it is here also we are going to create one single pod. That's why replica set is 1. The name of the container is going to be Mongo Express. It is going to run on the default port 8081. Okay, and it is going to take the credentials. In order to access the database, we need credentials, right? So it is going to take the information from the secrets file. All right, so this same again, the secret version has been defined here, the same port number and all. Understood? And finally, the config map. Config map, why do we need config map? Config map, we need it for database URL. Okay, what are the MongoDB database is there, right? In order to access that database, we need that URL, and that URL will be given by this config map file. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create all these files here. Okay, here. See, we don't have anything. Let me create a directory first, and I'm going to create and keep all the files in that directory. So Mongo-deployment. This is the directory I'm going to create. I'm going to go inside that directory, and I'm going to create all the 4 files here. Okay, one by one, I'm going to create all the 4 files. So first one is touch mongo.yaml. All right, so let me open up that file, mongo.yaml, paste the content which I have given. This file is ready. Now the next thing is I want the secret files as well. Let me create that secret file, touch mongo secrets.yaml. Okay, enter, take this content and open it up. Save this file. And what else we need? We need the express file as well. Okay, so create this file as well. So touch mongo express.yaml. All right, all the 4 files we have successfully created it. Okay, now we can start running the commands in order to setting up the pod. Okay, all the pods and all. So we have to go in a certain way. Okay, certain order has to be followed. First, how many files are there? We have 4 files, am I right? So the process, I mean the order is like this. First we have to apply the secret file. Okay, only then the credentials will be hard coded. Okay, it will be hard coded and it will be encoded, and we can start using the credentials. Once we apply the secret file, we are going to apply mongo.yaml deployment. Okay, YAML deployment. That is the second one. Third one is once these 2 files are applied, created, or we have deployed all those applications, we can go ahead and we can start apply the config map, because we need the URL, right? So we need the config map.yml. And finally, we are going to apply the express file. Okay, mongo-express.yaml. So this is the order we have to run the commands. Remember this. So let me start running the commands one by one, and we are going to create all the pods. Okay, so kubectl apply-f, we are going to mention the file name. The file name is mongo-secret.yaml. This is the first file which we are going to apply as per the order. Okay, so first thing we have done it. See here, we have successfully created the secrets file. The next thing is we are going to apply the deployment file. Now this deployment file is going to use the credentials which you have just created. Okay, so from this file, what are the credentials has been encoded or hard coded, those credentials will be used in this file. Okay, so let me run this, enter. That's it, we have successfully created the deployment as well. See here, deployment. We'll confirm that. Okay, once we apply all these files, we are going to confirm by using the commands. So what is the next thing? Let me run the config map as well. So kubectl apply -f, mention the config map. Okay, config map.yaml. All right, so the config map has been created. We have applied it. The URL might be generated now, and we can finally apply the Mongo Express. All right, so we have successfully created Mongo Express as well. Okay, Mongo Express. Let's verify what are the changes we have done so far. kubectl get pod. Okay, kubectl get pod. See how many pods are running? One is MongoDB, the database, and one is Mongo Express. As per the setup, what I've told you, same thing, right? One is for database, one is for Express. Using this Express, we are going to access this DB. Okay, how many containers are running? How many pods are running? Only one. Okay, one are running. All right. The next thing is, we can watch it, or we can get more information using -watch command. Okay, I think it's not working. Let me take, see here, the same information but with some more with some more additional information. So this is the Mongo Express uh, deployment, this is the MongoDB deployment, and these are having one by one cluster, and this is the time, okay, age, how many seconds it has been created. This is the IP address of the pod, this is the IP address of this DB pod. All right, now let's see the service as well. How many services are running? Total 3. See, whenever we create a mini cube, a default service will be running in the backend. That default service name is Kubernetes service. We can ignore this. We are not going to use this Kubernetes service. But until now, we have created two services. One is Mongo Express and one is DB service. The IP address of this Mongo Express is this one, and the second MongoDB is this one. If you see here, the Mongo Express is working as a load balancer. Okay, it is going to act as a load balancer for distributing the load and maintaining the health checks of the pods. Okay, and in case if any one of the pod goes down, immediately this load balancer will come into effect and it will launch an alternative pod with the same settings. All right, so that this command will give us the number of services. Let's see the secrets as well. See here, how many secrets are there? We have created only one secret file, right? So that is what this MongoDB-secret. If you want to get complete information, kubectl get all. Okay, kubectl spelling is wrong. So once you give the kubectl get all, see, this is going to give the complete information of the cluster. How many pods are running? See, this is the pod information. You can see here, pod slash the complete name. This will give the complete pod information. So 2 pods are running. This will give the complete services information. 3 services are there along with the one default service, that is Kubernetes, and this will give the deployment status, and this is going to give the replica set status. Okay, one of the important commands, kubectl get all. Okay, and if I want to just filter it out, if I want to just filter it out only to MongoDB information, I can use the same command, use grep and okay, use pipe space grep and mention uh, the keyword. Okay, mention the keyword. So once you mention the keyword, only MongoDB keyword present information will be shown here. Okay, so see here, pod service deployment and replica set, which belongs to MongoDB. Got it? So these are some of the important kubectl commands which we can use it while setting up the application. Now along with this, what we can do, we can use kubectl describe pod MongoDB hyphen deployment. I want the pod information, so copy this, enter. So once you run the kubectl pod, mention the pod name, complete information will be shown. See here, complete information. What kind of minikube it is running, on which port it is running, okay, and the entire information, environment, whether the username and password has been set up or not, and what kind of port it is running. All right, even the information related to Docker container. See, started Docker container, created Docker container, successfully pulled image. All this information is shown here. Similarly, we can use the same kubectl describe command for service as well. Service, mention the service name. What is the service name? Let's go. This is the service name. Okay, enter. So what it is saying, so we don't have any service name with this. Let's get the service name first. Kubectl get service. Okay, so this is the name, right? This is the service name. Let's take the Mongo Express service. Now let's try to run the command kubectl describe service, the service name. Enter. Now see here, the complete information related to this Mongo Express service is being shown here, along with the IP addresses, the number of ports which has been opened. All right, this is working as a load balancer, as I told you earlier. Okay, even we can see the logs as well. Kubectl logs mention the service name. All right, so even if we can run this command kube logs command to verify the logs if we have anything. Okay, so if there are any logs, that will be shown here. Finally, what we can do, we can start this service. Okay, we have just created the pods, we haven't started the application. So how can we start the application? We have the command called minikube service, the service name. Okay, so what this will do, this command will start that service. We have just created the pods. In order to make that pods run in the application, we have to run the command minikube service, the service name. Now if you see here, our particular pod has been started and our applications are running on this particular port, okay, which is 30,000. We have to install a browser. In this particular minikube, we have to install a browser. We can access that application using this URL. Okay, we can access this application using this URL. So you have to install a browser and we can start using it. How to install a browser and all, I'll show you later in some other class, because that is a separate Linux concept. Okay, but at this moment you have to understand that we have successfully created the application and the services are running on the Minikube cluster. All right, any doubts so far? Try to watch this video once again, find the what are the files which I am going to share it in the Google Drive. Try to check out that and give it a try and you will be able to do it. All right, any doubts so far? Okay, so what we are going to do now is we are going to wrap up the class for today. Okay, and the tomorrow we'll see the Terraform class. Okay, so Deepika, you have a doubt in CI/CD project. Okay, yeah, please go ahead. Please ask.
So, sir, I'm getting the unstable. So, can if you have the time, can I share my screen as per your
Uh,
availability?
yeah, not in this class, Deepika. We'll connect
Okay.
offline. Okay, see in other some other. I'll provide you some other link. We can connect in that link and we can discuss it. Okay. So,
Okay.
this session is getting recorded, right? So I don't want to
Yeah.
record that as well here. We'll connect
Mm.
offline and we can discuss more about it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So since we have some time, let me let me tell you something. Okay. Let me tell you something about the DevOps jobs. See, uh, at this moment, we are in the December month, right? So number of calls will be a little bit less. But after by the end of January, you'll get, I mean, the calls will be increasing gradually. So you can start creating your profile in Naukri, LinkedIn, and some other job portals. Start applying for the jobs. You can start attending the interviews. So please confirm if I have shared the interview questions as well or not in the Google Drive.
Okay, okay. I'll check, sir. I'll check.
Yeah. So check it out, and if the interview questions are there, fine, or else just confirm in the WhatsApp group. I will upload it and then I will confirm back. Okay. So
Sure, sir.
each tool has its own set of what do you call that, interview questions. Okay. So I have segregated it. I have created separate file for each and every tool. Try to read all the interview questions. See, you will once you open up the documents, there will be some questions which I haven't explained. As I told you, see,
Mm.
DevOps is it's like a ocean. Okay, there are a lot of tools, a lot of things, a lot of concepts to be covered, and we can't cover it up in 60 days, each and everything. We have
Mm.
covered the concepts which are most important for interviews. We are our Obviously our ultimate plan is what we need to get a job, right? DevOps job.
Mm.
So that is why we have covered the concepts which are most important for the interviews only. All right. So once you
Mm.
open up that interview questions, you'll find some the topics which you haven't discussed. You have to Google it up. You have to watch some YouTube videos. You have to check out some websites, and you have to learn it on your own. Okay. So there are some cons. Don't think that Venkat has skipped everything. All right. Next
Mm.
thing is, while you are attending the interviews, the introduction is very much important. See, I take a lot of interviews every day. Freshers, no, I mean freshers, experienced, lot of people. People, they don't market themselves. See, when we are trying to attend an interview, we have to boast about ourselves. We have to market ourselves. We have to tell them that I'm the best person who is good for this opportunity, right? So
Yes.
that is what lot of people are lacking. Okay, so start with a good introduction script. Okay, introduction script. See, mm, let me show you this. This is one of my uh, students. Okay, I have given this introduction script to him. He's not good with communication skills. So first you have to start by introducing. Okay, greet the interviewers, then thank them for taking the opportunity for interviewing you. Okay, then start with introducing yourself. All right, so you have to introduce in a very professional way, not like my name is Venkat, I'm from Hyderabad, I have completed my engineering, I have completed my schooling in so and so school. Okay, not that thing. You have to introduce professionally. Tell them about your job, tell them about your DevOps experience. Okay, how much, what kind of project you have worked on, whether it's a Java based project or whether it's a Python based project, and tell them what exactly you have done in that project. See here, all these things I have explained. Explain about your team. What are the tools you have worked on? Try to read this line. So this is what is very much important. Okay, you have to explain about your previous, the last DevOps job experience. So some of you guys are going to put up some experience, right? After this course is completed, you have to, you know, talk in that way. Okay, so for example, if you're keeping like 2 or 3 years of experience as DevOps, you have to showcase that experience. All right, so you have to use those technical terms like idempotency, indentation, and all these groovy scripting concepts are there, right? All these things you have to use it frequently. All these daily job activities. See, daily I'm doing this activity, I'm working on Git repositories, I'm performing branching, tagging, all these things. I'm responsible for managing the Jenkins CI tool. I have installed so and so plugins, okay, and deploying the artifacts into the Docker containers. This we have covered in the where we have covered this, we have covered in the CI/CD project. Okay, so explain them. You have to explain. The first thing is, what is the first question they will ask? Introduce yourself, right? So we have to take at least 2 to 3 minutes of time, explain them clearly what you have done in the previous project. Okay, introduction is very, very, very important, very much important. The next thing is CI/CD. I have seen people who doesn't introduce themselves properly. Okay, so when they ask, I have seen people, when I ask them, for example, if the candidate is there, I'll ask them, can you please explain what is CI/CD? They'll just, what is the answer I get? They tell that, they will tell that CI/CD stands for continuous integration and continuous delivery. That's it. I know the full form. I need the answer for that. That is what I'm looking for. That is where I reject people. Okay, CI/CD is the most important question of DevOps. That is the heart of DevOps. That is what we are trying to work for. So you have to explain CI/CD at least for 2 to 3 minutes. Start with continuous integration is the practice in DevOps where the developers will merge the code into the central repository, and Jenkins, which is a continuous integration tool, it is going to pull the code, it will detect those changes, it will pull the code with the help of pole SCM concept, and it will build the code automatically. Once the build process is completed, we are going to deploy the code into the target environment. This process is called as continuous integration. Continuous deployment or continuous delivery starts where continuous integration has ended. So continuous deployment is a process where the deployment of artifact happens to the target environment automatically without any human intervention. There is no manual effort required. This is called as continuous deployment. And speaking about continuous delivery, this is the process where we are going to deploy the artifact into the target environment with a human approval check required. Okay, a person is going to approve that request. A senior technical lead or a technical manager is going to check the code. He's going to verify the code. Once he approves the code, that is going to be deployed into the target environment. This is the major difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment. This whole process can be achieved with different set of tools, and this is what we call it as CI/CD in DevOps. Okay, in this way you have to take some time, explain clearly. Each term should be technical. Each term should be, you know, should look rich. You are going to explain them in a rich way. Okay. Coming to the tools. See, not all the tools are going to be asked by everyone. See, some companies ask some certain set of tools. Some companies are going to ask other set of tools. See, some company, I have taught you Ansible, there is no rule that the company will ask Ansible only. They might be using some other thing. They might be using Salt Stack. They might be using Chef. So what you have to do, you have to tell them that, okay, see, I didn't get the opportunity to work on Chef, but I can definitely learn it if I'm given a chance. Okay, tell them that I have learned an alternative tool for it, but I know the concepts, how the infrastructure as a code works. But if given a chance, I can definitely learn it in a short period of time. Tell them that. What are the things which are pending now with respect to course? If you want to become a good DevOps engineer, so try to learn more and more things about Kubernetes. Terraform I'm going to teach you from tomorrow. Okay, try to learn more things about Terraform and Kubernetes, because these are the concepts, these two are the tools which they are focusing on. Nowadays, jobs are focusing on these two tools more. Apart from these, try to learn any Python or scripting language. Okay, my preference is try to learn Python scripting, because that is easy to learn, easy to understand, and a lot of companies are preferring Python over Shell or other scripting languages like Java scripting or Ruby scripting. Okay, so try to at least have some basic knowledge. What is Python, and what are the modules involved in Python scripting? Okay, what are list and tuples, like all these data types, all these kind of things, basic stuff. Try to read this over internet and try to get some basic understanding about the Python scripting and all that. And one last final thing is try to learn about AWS. Okay, AWS services like VPC, IAM, and S3. Okay, try to learn at least these three services. These three services will be enough for getting a job. Okay, you, in YouTube we have number of tutorials. Okay, number of tutorials are there. I'll share you some best tutorials link. Okay, in the WhatsApp group. Try to watch these tutorials, learn these services as soon as possible, and you will be able to crack the interviews at the earliest. Okay, these are some of the important services which we have to learn as a DevOps engineer. But if there is time, if there is money, so try to complete the complete course. If you have option to complete the course, try to join a AWS course separately. Complete the course. Complete the course. And if you have enough, if you have financial freedom, try to do the certification as well. Okay, so that will add more weightage to your profile. You'll get number of calls if you have certification. All right, but see, even without certification also people are getting jobs. There is no compulsion, but if you have the ability to do the certification, do it. Okay, so these are some of the important things which I wanted to discuss with respect to the interviews point of view. All right, so create two profiles in Naukri. Take two numbers. Okay, take two mobile numbers and create two Gmail IDs. So use those two Gmail IDs and create two Naukri profiles. Okay, why I'm saying this is, when you create two profiles, you will get, you're doubling up your chances of getting the calls. When you attend more interviews, there are chances of cracking the interview more. Okay, so try to create two profiles. Okay, apply for more and more jobs. Okay, update the profiles on daily basis. You'll get a lot of calls. Attend each and every interview. Don't think that this is a startup. Don't think that that is an MNC. I don't like that company. I don't want to go to Gurgaon. I don't want to go to Noida, Pune. Don't think all those things. First attend the interview. Try to get some hands-on experience. Okay, what exactly the interviewer is asking, how the interviews is going on. Okay, try to understand the flow, and once you attend more and more interviews, you'll get more experience. All right, any doubts so far?
So we need to say about that we have experience in the scripting language, or we have the knowledge. We need to.
You just tell them I have some basic understanding
Hmm,
of Python scripting.
okay.
Okay, just tell
Hmm.
them that I have basic understanding of Python scripting. i'm trying to learn I'm trying to learn and I'm doing some POCs myself. Okay, doing some POC. Okay, POC means what? POC means, like, it's like project. Okay, the project. POCs means proof of concept. Okay, it's like a project. It's like a project, okay, which you are going to create. Okay, and we are going to practice it on your own. So tell them that uh, tell them that you have some basic understanding, and you are trying to learn more and more concepts, and practicing all those modules and all. Just tell them that and make them believe that you are curious to learn new things. Okay, that is what is important. An interviewer will look the confidence levels. You have to tell them each and everything in a conference. Okay, be very confident. Make sure that you express your points very clearly, and you should make interviewer believe that you are curious to learn new things.
So one more question. So for resume building, we need your suggestions so that we can upload our resume in Naukri.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I have shared the sample resumes. Am I right?
You've shared in the document folder, right?
Yeah. In the document folder, there will be like, around 15 to 20 resumes, sample resumes. All right.
Okay.
Open up each and every resume, pick up any one resume which you like it, okay, which you think that the format is looking good, the design, the font, everything is looking good. Take that resume, change the name, change the details, add your project details, and upload in the Naukri. Okay, that will be enough.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Even after doing all these things, if you have any doubts, let me know. I will try to connect and I'll help you out.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other doubts with respect to job or course, anything?
So one more question, like in the DevOps team, they follow Agile. For
Mhm.
operation team also, like for DevOps engineer also, they follow the Agile process.
Yeah, obviously we need to follow agile process only. Okay,
So
lot of projects are
what are the artifacts we use, sir?
artifacts in the like the outputs.
The documents, and all the ceremonies. What are the meetings they follow?
Like what kind of meetings you're talking about?
The stand up and the retrospective, all like that. The
Yeah, the same agile process. Okay, see, now I'm currently working, right? We have
hmm.
all the same processes. Okay, that same agile methodology, same all those things, like the stand up call, the scrum call, everything is same,
So
and we are working on that.
okay. So who will be the part of that meeting, sir, with DevOps engineer? Along with the DevOps engineer, who will be the
Hmm.
like in like developers, test engineer, and the PO like that in the team from
Mhm.
the development team, from operation team? Who will be the part of that meeting?
So I'll tell you my experience. Okay, in stand up call, uh,
Mm-hmm.
one representative from one team. Okay, from development team, one representative. Okay, usually it will be the scrum master. Okay, from for that development team, one scrum master will be there, right?
Okay.
And so that person will be joining our call, one from the operation team, and as a DevOps engineer we'll be connecting to that call. Okay, so what are the challenges are being faced by the respective team, those
Mm.
changes or those challenges will be expressed by the scrum masters. Okay, so that what are the challenges they are facing, they'll bring that up in the call, and we have to discuss it, we have to find out a solution for that. We'll create a Jira ticket, and we'll start working on that Jira ticket. Okay, some kind of solution we have to bring it up.
Okay, sir. Got it,
All
sir.
right. Okay,
Thank you.
any other doubts?
No, sir.
All right, so no issues, start checking the videos once again. Stick to the basics. Remember all the commands, by heart it, practice it, and upload your profile. And what are the tools which I mentioned? Kubernetes, Terraform. Try to learn more and more things about it. This all these tools are like a lot of concepts are there, a lot of things are there to be learned. So I'll provide you the links and all. Try to watch some videos and all, and learn more things about AWS as well. Okay, AWS is also equally important. So if possible, try to do the certification. If not, at least try to read these services which I have told, VPC, IAM, S3 and all, and you can start applying for the jobs. Okay, so the more effort you give, okay, the more effort you keep on every day, like 2 or 3 hours a day, you'll be ready for the job as soon as possible. Okay, so let's connect tomorrow. We'll start a new tool called Terraform, and we'll complete it in another 2 days. Okay, and after that we can close this. Okay, that's it. So Deepika, what we'll do, the time is up, right? We can, we'll connect around 11 or something. Okay,
Okay, sir.
yeah,
So
thank you guys. Bye.
thank you, sir.